Today's story is about a little girl and a poor, frail lady. There was once a little girl who didn't get out of bed one morning, or the next, or even the next. In fact, she didn't get out of bed for a whole month. She was very sick, and no one knew how to make her better. Jairus was her daddy, and he loved her very much. One day, he was sitting by her bed, holding her hand, and wishing there was something he could do. "I know," he said, and he jumped to his feet, put on his coat, kissed his daughter, and ran down the steps, past the servants, out of the house, through the gates, down the road, into the town, up the steps, into the temple, and he fought his way through all the people until at last he found who he was looking for. "Jesus," he said, falling at Jesus' feet. "My daughter," he pleaded, "please." But he didn't get to beg, because before he'd even finished speaking, Jesus reached out his hand and helped him up. "I'll come at once," Jesus said. Jairus' eyes filled with tears. Jesus was coming. Everything would be all right. In those days, of course, they didn't have ambulances, so they had to go by foot. Jesus' helpers knew that he would heal the sick girl, but they must hurry. If Jesus didn't get there soon, it would be too late. But everyone was in the way, hustling and bustling, jostling, pressing, pushing and shoving, squishing and squashing. The disciples ran ahead, forcing back the crowd. Suddenly, Jesus stopped. His friends looked back. What was he doing? "Who touched me?" Jesus asked, because he felt power go out from him. "Me," said a frail little lady, looking down because she was ashamed. The poor lady had been sick for 12 years, and she had to get well. She knew if only she touched Jesus' coat, she would be healed. So she touched his coat, and instantly she was well. "We don't have time," Jesus' friend said, but Jesus always had time. He reached out his hand and gently lifted her head. He looked into her eyes and smiled. "You believed," he said, wiping a tear from her eye, "and now you are well." Just then, Jairus' servant rushed up to Jairus. "It's too late," he said breathlessly. "Your daughter is dead." Jesus turned to Jairus. "It's not too late," Jesus said. "Trust me." At Jairus' house, everyone was crying, but Jesus said, "I'm going to wake her up." Everyone laughed at him because they knew that she was dead. Jesus walked into the little girl's bedroom, and there, lying in the corner, in the shadows, was a still little figure. Jesus sat on the bed and took her pale hand. "Honey," he said, "it's time to get up." And he reached down into death and gently brought the little girl back to life. The little girl woke up and rubbed her eyes as if she'd just woken up from a long sleep, and leapt right out of bed. Jesus threw open the shutters, and sunlight flooded the dark room. "Are you hungry?" Jesus asked. She nodded yes. Jesus called to her family, "Bring this little girl some breakfast." And Jesus helped and healed many people like this. He made blind people see, he made deaf people hear, and he made the lame people able to walk again. Jesus was making the sad things of the world become untrue. He was mending God's broken world. Okay, now let's sing "This Little Light of Mine." I think that the lady that was healed and the girl that was raised from the dead would absolutely want to sing and shine their little light all about what Jesus did for them. Okay, let's sing. 2, 3, 4. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. it shine. Even when I'm afraid, I'm gonna let it shine. Even when I'm afraid, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Matthew 5, verse 16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Well, thanks for listening to the story with me from the Bible.